Chapter 3, The Punch Up. Bruce was getting... Bruce woke up in the morning. He says himself, oh, what's it like being in prison? I hate being in prison. This is a load of old shit, he said to himself. He said good morning to his shared friend, person, whatever his name is. Can't remember what his name is now. But he couldn't remember what his name was. He said, good morning, old fella. How you doing, my old mucker? He said, he's doing fine. Then the constable said, come on, it's time to come out of your house for breakfast. Breakfast is... Then he went downstairs to the canteen to get his breakfast. The cook said, what would you like today for breakfast? You got two choices. You got porridge, which is all the way from Norwich. Making a funny joke out of that, she said. Or you got Weetabix from the Weetabix Buddies. From the advert, Weetabix, she said. And Bruce said, what's your name, by the way? Sarah. My name is Sarah. I am the cook. So you can enjoy your stay in this place. The city. He was sitting down and having his breakfast. He met more of the people in prison. There was about 30 of them in prison altogether. You heard about three people heard idiot. Where did I get you, you little boy? So what did he do? He punched them, all three, in the face. All knocked down in the face. He had to get about 6 coppers down the stairs because it took about 6 people to restrain one man. He took him back to his cell. He took him back to his cell. The constable said, you need to stop. You need to stop. So Bruce sat in his jail. He was writing music and he was writing a version of Michael Jackson. He was thinking to himself, when he come out of prison, he said to himself, do you know what he said to himself when he come out of prison? I'm going to rob a bank. Yes, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to rob a bank. Slapping the pen down. About 5 times. 1. $12:00. Lunchtime. Would you like the lunch today? Bruce said nothing. He didn't want nothing for lunch. After lunch, you can go outside and do your exercise. The Constable Roger said. Once lunch was over, he went outside to play a bit of basketball. He made a new prison mate who doesn't do punch-ups or nothing like that. But he had about 3 punch-ups yesterday and today, which took the mick. once he'd done his exercise, all the prisoners got called back to your cells, back to your prison cells. They all got locked out. They all slept for the night. Got in for the night. Chapter 4. The next chapter 4. Good day. Morning. His friend was getting out of prison today. He said, Bruce said, I'm gonna miss you, old fella. He went with a smile on his face. And the other person said, I'm gonna miss you too. Well, friends, I'm going now. It's time for me to go. Yeah. It was a different constable the next day as well. This was Constable Rosie. Constable Rosie was an absolute legend. She was. Breakfast time. Bruce was racing down the stairs. To go to the canteen. You again, he replied, with a smile on his face. And the cook said, what would you like for breakfast this morning? We got another 2 choices today. We got egg and bacon, or you can have a bowl of porridge from Norwich. So obviously he chose egg and bacon, obviously. Obviously that's what he chose, egg and bacon. As he sat down to eat his breakfast, after breakfast, he had to say goodbye to one of his mates. He said to him, nice seeing you. Have a good rest of your life in prison. Have a good rest of your life out of prison. After Mr. GBH. He went out for some exercise. Bruce went out for some exercise on his own. He was in the gym doing weights, push-ups, and then he rolled a fag because he smokes. He was doing push-ups, and also he was rolling. He was having a fag as well in prison. As he put his backy down. Then you hear a funny noise. He said to himself, what's that? What's that? Beep, 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 beep. That was the fire alarm. But it wasn't in the other prison. It was in the other cell. It was in the other half of the prison. It was this half of the prison. We don't know what's happened. Everybody out of the prison, as the constable said. As Constable Rosie said, everybody out of the prisons. Everybody get in a safe line and everybody get in space. Chapter 5. Suicide. He The next morning, he was sleeping. He woke up. He was getting ready to commit suicide. He wrote a note saying, "I'm committing suicide today." He got called to breakfast, but he didn't want any breakfast because he wasn't hungry for breakfast. Instead, he done a tragic thing. Committed suicide. Constable Rosie was on call that duty that day when he committed suicide. The police officers found him dead in his prison cell. We found him hanged with a t-shirt on his head. Because they didn't know he had mental health issues. So he decided to take his own life by committing suicide. Chapter 6. The day of the funeral. His mate found out his mate come back to prison because he done something illegal, another thing for illegal, and this time he got sentenced for 3 months in prison for doing a drug. Well, for stealing a car. So obviously he said, "Where's my best mate, Bruce?" He said, Constable Rosie said, "Sadly, he passed away yesterday. He committed suicide." Today's the day of the funeral. Some of these friends are coming along. Some of his friends came along to his funeral. He was meant to be sent down for 5 years in prison. A lot of his family were dead as well from committing suicide. His uncle committed suicide. He was 20 when he committed suicide. So he's never had an uncle. His granddad passed away from a heart attack. His nan got her head chopped off. And his dad and his mum died in a car crash. And his brothers, we didn't know this. And his sisters, didn't have no sisters either, or no brothers. That's why he didn't have no family. He was the last person on earth in his life who committed suicide at the age of 19. It's the day of the funeral today. Remember all the happy times you had with him, with his friends. The end.